Hi, my favourite DJ Dr. Gonzo is on the air right now. Dr. Gonzo is live Monday through Friday, 5 a.m. Eastern Standard Time to 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. The doctor knows what you need. The true classic hits of the 60s, 70s and 80s. So tune in to gonzoradiopeakwa.com 24/7. Buy the ticket and take the ride, because that's just what the doctor ordered. Tune in worldwide on the internet of Spotify.
And hey everybody, this is Dr. Gonzo, aka Tim in the Morning. Let me give you a little bit of background. I'm going to do a Blue Beetle review, but how did I get here? I've been a professional musician for over 50 years now. I'm a drummer, obviously. I have drums behind me there. And this is actually my drum studio and my now podcasting studio. My wife recently passed away from Alzheimer's on May 29th. I started watching reviews the past year. Started out with Gary Beaker, at Nerdrotic, and through him discovered that Chris Gore is still out there. Myself and my son Alan and Steven were both big fans of Chris Gore's Attack of the Show, Olivia Munn, of course, and so started to look at some reviews. I did that mainly because as a caregiver, wanted to get outside my head a little bit and not think about my wife who passed away. And I was her caregiver, and I loved her till death do we part. And I miss her, of course, but I know where she is, so that's okay. So anyway, to get away from a little bit of the stress, I started listening to all these reviews because, like Gary and many others, I'm a big comic book geek. Now, let's get to Blue Beetle. And I've saved everything from when I was a kid. The first comic my parents got me was, this was the Dan Garrett Blue Beetle. Okay, so it's number 2. Checked on the price on it. It's not worth as much as you would think. So from there, I went on to started reading Blue Beetle in the, I think this was in the 80s, and loved the character of Ted Kord. And then read Secret Origins from DC, which kind of links on how Ted Kord and Dan Garrett, the original Blue Beetle, met each other. Now, when it comes to the new Blue Beetle, I had watched on HBO Max Young Justice League, and I saw that character on there, and it was kind of interesting. Didn't really know much about it, didn't read the comic, so I decided to go to the movie. And there has been so much unnecessary fuss over this movie and what it represented, and I think it's been misrepresented a little bit. And let me play a clip here, and this is from Paulie from Latino Slant. I've become Twitter friends with some great folks out there. And I did want to thank, there were a couple guys from F&T. I had posted a GoFundMe for final funeral costs for my wife, Donna, and some of the F&T guys reposted it. So I appreciate you. So I'm not against anybody. And I want to take exception with what Quarter Black Garrett said. And this was brought up by Paulie at Latino Slant. And I tell you what, he wasn't paying attention to the movie. Quarter Black Garrett is a great producer. The guy does quality work. But Quarter Black Garrett had it wrong here.
Does every single aspect of his life have to be tacos.
Yes.
Literally in the beginning, he walks in, he's getting back from college. They're like, let's go get tacos.
Let's go on.
They walk into their house and she's like, that's where Mama told us how to make salsa.
Isn't the guy?
Like,
isn't
why?
the name of his?
The name of his truck is Taco.
Now, that wasn't the line in the movie. I've seen Blue Beetle a couple times. I've even pre-purchased it on Voodoo because I'm a fan of Blue Beetle. Hey, if it's not your thing, don't buy it. Nobody's holding the gun to your head. I think it's a great movie. But anyway, Quarterback Garrett had it wrong. The actual line in the movie was when they got to the porch after they went to dinner at a restaurant because, of course, Jaime wanted some authentic homemade cooking at a restaurant. But I guess it's one of their favorite restaurants. And it was a taco. So his sister did mention that, well, you're done with the tacos now. Do you remember this porch? This is where Mama taught us how to salsa dance. They weren't talking about salsa like this.
Hey, Cookie, any more paste, thick, and chunky salsa? That ain't paste. But, Cookie, paste, thick, and chunky salsa puts only fresh jalapenos in every jar with that bold taste born in San Antonio. This stuff's made in New York City.
New York City? Pick up the one with fresh jalapenos. Pick up the paste.
Okay, boys, time to hit the sack.
They were talking about salsa dancing. And I thought it was really cool that their mom would teach them salsa dancing. And the thing I think most people noticed in this movie is the sense of family. So I don't know where all the taco jokes are coming from because they mentioned tacos maybe twice, and yeah, the uncle's truck is named Taco. And oh my gosh, let me tell you, there are so many things that were duplicated from other movies. I'll play a couple clips here on how things were the same. It was cookie cutter. It really was. So let me play that.
Kate, there's someone else with us.
Identify yourself. What is your type and model?
I think I cut a bus in half.
But what I think people missed in this movie was a sense of family. And it wasn't just about them being Hispanic. They were a tight family. They didn't agree with everything together. Okay, see, it's a sense of family. The grandma was a typical grandma. She really was. And she was like I believe it's called Adelita. And I found I remember in my history class in high school, I'm from Phoenix, they actually taught us about the Adelitas. And I may be pronouncing that wrong, sorry. Adela Perez was one. We learned this in history class. So there were females fighting right alongside of the males. And in those days, just like pioneer women, grandma wasn't trying to be a woman boss. Matter of fact, there was a line in the movie where grandma gets everybody together and she's going to say, we're going to fight because that's what your father would want us to do. So the father was definitely leading his family. And some of the scenes with his father, oh man, it made me tear up. I loved my dad. I mean, obviously they bought me comics when I was a kid. They were great parents. My dad was a pre-Navy SEAL. It was a military family. I'm a martial artist as well. My funny little story. My first karate lesson was when my dad told me to do something in high school, and I go around to our kitchen. There's a wall between us, and I'm sitting there. I'm giving him the double birdies, No, because obviously I wasn't face to face with him. He came around the corner, caught me in mid birdie. Oh my gosh! He hit me with what's called a palm heel strike right up under my sternum. Now, it didn't break anything. He just knocked the wind out of me and put me up against the wall. And he told me, if you ever do that again, I'll break both those fingers. And then he said, you okay? I said, I'm okay. And then he took me out in the backyard, and I got my first karate lesson. He actually showed me some stuff. My dad was a pre-Navy SEAL frogman in the Korean War, and he was a demolition guy. So him and his partner would get dropped into a LZ and have to cause havoc and get their way back home. So he was a pretty badass, And I loved my family. And my grandma was very much like Jaime's grandma, very much so, And I'm part Czechoslovakian, or Slovak now, since Czech and the Republic split. So I'm Slovak. And my grandma was the same way. And our family was tight. We met every Sunday, sat on the floor and watched Walt Disney in color back when Disney was worth a crap. So I think people, even the detractors on Blue Beetle, they say it's great about family. Another thing I wanted to bring up is they're talking about the actual box office take on this. And one person out there who was doing a review was just nasty. He was just saying, you broke dicks who didn't, pardon my language, you broke dicks who didn't even bother going to the movie, talking about Hispanics. And I thought to myself, dude, man, people don't, if you have to choose between gassing your tank or going to a movie, thank God my kids for Father's Day bought me like $100 worth of Fandango money so I can go to the show, because I loved, Oppenheimer, Guardians 3, and of course Blue Beetle. And the family was tight.
One last Blue Beetle question, sir. What was your favorite moment in the film?
Well, I would have to say, well, first off, there's my favorite moments, but then there are also the moments that kind of hit me personally, like sort of, made me emotional. I don't want to spoil the film for anybody. I mean,
yes,
it's like,
it's true. Maybe we should put spoiler up.
Yeah. I mean, if anybody doesn't want to know anything about the movie, please, turn your sound off or something right now. But,
and in 3, 2, 1.
Okay. I mean, my favorite moment in the movie is when he first suits up, right? And what he doesn't have this reaction of like I'm a monster or anything like that. Mm-hmm. It's like, wow, I can do all these really interesting things, and just how he handles that. But what hit me is when he has that sort of conversation with his father in the afterlife, when he's not sure if he can do the thing that he needs to do. And, I've got aging parents, and it sort of hit me a certain way. They're not going to be here forever. And it's making me emotional just thinking about it right now.
Yep.
That hit me. And the Nana character, at least before she's revealed to be a revolutionary, like just certain things about her reminded me of my German grandmother, my Oma, reminded me of.
That's great, man.
Yeah,
that's great. Yeah, she's fantastic. What a cast! What a cast, man.
Amazing cast.
So I have no comprehension at all where these people are saying that it's a subpar movie. I thought the acting was great. The guy from Cobra Kai, I'll have this nice lady pronounce his name for you because my Spanish sucks. Sorry.
How to pronounce Zolo Maridueña. Zolo Maridueña.
This guy has chops. He's going to be a great actor. And you watch this. I'm going to predict this right now. Am I skeptical about James Gunn as well as what he's going to do with DC? The Authority is a big mistake. It's just it's not my cup of tea, you know. And I don't have a problem with any gender or sexual preferences. Whatever you want to do, man, that's on you. I just don't want to hear about it. And in The Authority, Batman and Superman are gay, which is bad enough. And it's obscure comics. You know, Blue Beetle is a little bit of an obscure person, but I can see him either in Young Justice League. But you watch, he's going to be the new DCU's Miles Morales. Now, Miles Morales is Miles Morales. He is not Spider-Man. And Blue Beetle is not Spider-Man. But I think they're very similar in characters. So anyway, I just want to give a shout out to all those great guys out there. Thanks to Friday Night Tights and that whole gang out there. Some of my favorites is Disparu. I don't agree with him all the time, but he's on the nose almost 100% of the time. Critical Drinker, of course, because he's just so smart. I mean, I love listening to his reviews. I like Andre and Midnight's Edge. Of course, Chris Gore. I really like Chris Gore and Film Threat. And my son Alan was a huge fan, like I said before, as well. And not to be confused with Alan Ing, different Allens.
Alan!
That Alan. Love Paulie and Latino Slant and Fletcher, Mexican Iron Man. We're going to do some special stuff. I'm telling you what, come with Hispanic Heritage Month. At my radio station, if there's a special thing going on, like during Black History Month, well, we did a history of rock and roll, how rock and roll comes from that. And I'm in a blues trio as well as a jazz trio, and our music comes from a lot of black artists. So we featured that during Black History Month. So during Hispanic Heritage Month, we're going to do some special stuff. Hope to be on Paulie's show if he lets me. Again, tune into Film Threat. Chris is doing some great stuff. I just want to plug him. His DVD things are really cool. And I still watch DVDs, old Disney ones. And so it's DVD Tuesday, Hollywood on the Rocks. Of course, F&T, Friday Night Tights, Be There or Be Square. And on my radio station, I also play Dan Vask every Friday because he's just a great artist. So go out and buy. So go out and give Blue Beetle a chance. Check it out. It has a great family theme on it. It's not woke at all. For these people making comparisons to ICE and all that stuff, they're really digging. It's a lot of straw man stuff. And I got to wonder, it's a Hispanic superhero, so he would come from a Hispanic family, but his family is loving. Did you come from a loving family? If you didn't, go watch this movie because Jaime's father is just beautiful in this. The man-to-man talk that they have before other things happen. You know, have we seen a lot of this stuff before? Sure we have. But it's a good and decent superhero movie. You can take your kids to it. And this is Dr. Gonzo. And you can find me on Twitter at Tim in the Morning. So, hey, I'll see you later.
Sugar took my breath away.
You walk in here like you own the place. You're like a smile on the billboard interstate. You take control of the room, heads turning round. I'm slipping in everything, you're smoothing down. You don't do what the good girls do. That's what keeps me wanting you. Turn my nothing into something, make me feel like summer's coming. Sing up with it, we'll be running. I felt my heart stop beating. You took away my breathing. Sitting right and looking in your eyes. It was love on arrival. Got me down and sweet shit. From the moment that we met. You're what I wanna live without. It was love on arrival. L-O-A. Love on arrival. I'm here to stay. Love on arrival. Sugar took my breath away. I didn't walk in to fall in love with you. After everything I was going through, and even though you didn't show it on your face, we were both coming from a lonely place. Now you don't do what the good girls do. That's the thing that keeps me wanting you. Turn my nothing into something, make me feel like summer's coming. Sing up with it, we'll be running. I felt my heart stop beating. You took away my breathing. Sitting right and looking in your eyes. It was love on arrival. Got me down in sweet shit. From the moment that we met. You're what I wanna live without. It was love on arrival. L-O-A. Love on arrival. I'm here to stay. Love on arrival. Sugar took my breath away. Love on arrival. I'm here to stay. Love on arrival. Sugar took my breath away. I felt my heart stop beating. You took away my breathing. Sunday right and looking in your eyes. Now you got me down and sweet. From the moment that we met. Now I don't wanna live without you. L-O-A. Love on arrival. I'm here to stay. Love on arrival. Sugar took my